By the time I had graduated high school, we had moved 9 times. My parents got divorced at an early age, and it wasn't until many years later that they both settled down. Throughout all of this moving around, there was one thing in my life that was a constant. One presence that was always there. The Lahave River. I've lived inland, where the shores of the river were only a stone's throw away from each other, and I've lived minutes from the Atlantic, where the river's giant mouth opens up to the sea. But much of my life was spent somewhere in the middle, a small town called Bridgewater, named aptly after the abundance of bridges and water, over which I must have crossed thousands of times. Since moving to the comparatively big city of Halifax in my early 20s, the river crept into my thoughts more and more. It's here that I had the idea of canoeing the Lahave River from source to sea. This waterway was inadvertently a big part of my life, and I wanted to see it in its entirety, to have a better understanding of it, to see where it comes from and where it goes. In the summer of 2024, these plans became a reality. After some planning, I set off to canoe all 100 kilometers of the river with Liam. Liam is one of my oldest and closest friends, and we had spent hours exploring the river, both in and around it together. So I really couldn't think of a better person to go on this adventure with.
Slow down a bit.
Yep. Our first night out there was spent at a cabin close to the river's headwaters. This was a very special, very remote place. We had to get special permission to stay there from the owner, and it was an absolute privilege to stay there.
Day 1 is in the books, even though it wasn't that long of a day. It's just after 9 o'clock. We got dropped off around 8:30. Quick portage through the woods, and then a little paddle over to this pretty incredible little cabin that's at the headwaters of the Lahave River here. Pretty crazy to actually be here. This trip has been in my mind for at least a decade. But yeah, tonight we're just gonna relax, enjoy our time at this beautiful cabin, and then we have a really big day ahead of us tomorrow.
As the night settled in, I was so amazed by how loud it was out there. It felt like every animal that lived in those backwoods was trying to make itself heard. The peace that we felt at the cabin that night is a feeling I haven't felt since. Our first stop in the morning was not downstream, but up to the river's true headwaters.
Holy shit. This river, Liam, that we've been around for our whole life, starts right there. That is crazy, man.
This is a place that I had thought about for such a long time, but I didn't really know what it was going to look like. And when we got there, it was more visually striking than I could have imagined. There was this gorgeous set of rapids that fed into the still waters that created essentially the start of the Lahave River. It almost looked like a shrine with the way the water was coming in over the rocks. It was such a beautiful, powerful place. Those feelings I felt in that moment were heightened by the fact that our times around the headwater, there was a great bald eagle keeping close watch over us.
Whoa, eagle.
We didn't stay there long though, because after all, there was 100 kilometers to cover between us and the ocean. Mountains will always be what I love the most in the outdoors. They always have been, they always will be. That will never change. But it was on these still waters that I truly understood why people love canoeing so much in Canada. The conditions were just perfect. We had the wind at our backs. We were flying down these still waters, making an amazing time.
Do you guys see this? We're like surfing basically. This is cool.
But soon the river showed its true form.
What are you swimming? Oh yeah, no, there's no way we could have gone through here. Yeah, go left and then we can go around those little rocks. Watch out, big rock, big rock. This way, hard this way, hard this way.
These still waters eventually gave way to unending rapids. One set after another, broken up by these little pools that were maybe 3 or 4 canoe lengths long, barely worth getting back in the canoe for.
Just a lot of small rapids like that we're gonna come across. Like, I don't think it's possible to run just with the rocks in it anyway, even if we knew what we were doing, which we don't.
Not canoers. Please don't think we're canoers, we are not. So with our lack of canoeing experience in mind, I wanted to pick a time of year where the water levels wouldn't be too high, where we couldn't get into any serious, dangerous trouble where we could have gotten hurt. What I overlooked was how unforgiving this river would be when water levels were lower. It was just rocks. It was just rocks. Like, we weren't canoeing anymore.
We're kind of doing like the opposite of canoeing. Like, the canoe is like paddling us. Like, we're taking the canoe for a ride.
So we spent 8 hours with the gear on our backs pretty much.
We've reached the intersection of the Lahave River and Camel Hill Road.
By the time we reached the first point where the river intersected with the road, we had a very, very important decision to make. The next option to get off the river wasn't until much, much further down. So it was at this point where we had to make the call. Do we get out here or do we push on?
We stopped, talked it over, and ultimately decided that we may have bit off more than we can chew for this day.
All in all, I think we made 10K of the 100 on day 1. So if you do the math, Scott's laughing at me behind the camera. If you do the math, we would have needed like 2 weeks to get through this thing. So it's at this point where I kind of had to swallow my pride a little bit and make the call to get out. At least we tried to make the call to get out. It was very, very bad cell connection.
Are you coming back? No. Well, if we're coming back or not depends on if you're gonna get us. Can you hear me? Cutting out?
There's one really funny moment where, because the calls kept dropping, I get through to my dad because he was gonna come pick us up, and I say,
"Hey Jamie, this is your son."
And then the call drops and Liam looks at me and he goes, "So you knew the call was gonna drop pretty quickly and those are the words you chose to say." Like, it was like, you know, you have, like, he has caller ID. He knows it's your son. You don't have to clarify that. Mark my words though, I will be back to canoe this river from source to sea, and we will tell this story in its entirety. That is my promise to you.
We should probably tell this story. I think the best part of the day wasn't captured on camera. Basically, I was at the bottom of a rapid. Liam was at the top. It was more like a little waterfall. And Liam was gonna send the canoe down to me on a rope. I get out into the little pool, realize I had my phone in my pocket, and I yell to Liam, "Phone, phone," to let him know not to let the canoe go. But then he thought I was saying go, go, and let go of it. So the canoe comes flying down. I have to throw my phone onto the shore, and then I dive over to grab it. Liam dives in from the top, and I think we got it just in the nick of time.
We got it.
We got it.